Hello on this good day. Welcome to another edition of this assembly. This is your servant of Yahweh, Soya, and we have a lot to go over today. I hope you don't mind the background. This is my home gym. I put so much work in this morning that I felt like it would be befitting that since we're about to put some work in that I do this down here instead of in the library. So I hope you're ready. I have a lot to go through. We have a lot to go through. I'm going to try to get through the remainder of this chapter. I doubt if it'll happen. I'm going to try to do it in my normal time frame, or I may just stretch it out a little further. That being said, I'd like to thank the Father for giving us these revelations. Thank Him for allowing me to bless you with this understanding, and pray that He give you the discernment to receive it and accept it and to question Him so that you receive even more understanding. In the name of Yahushua Mashiach, Amen. We left off on chapter 3, verse 6. We're going to pick it up today at verse 7, and let's begin. And the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. I like this wording that they made themselves aprons, because if you know what an apron is, you'll know that if that was the case, their butts were out. Okay? Aprons don't cover your butt. So I thought that was kind of funny. All right, this is an example of metaphorical speaking in scripture. The eyes were already open and they could see. This language suggests that their understanding took a drastic change to where it was before known to them, they can now comprehend. And it probably shook them based on their reaction, you know. Say, ooh, you're naked. Yeah, I'm naked too. What is that? You know, it was probably, you know, something that they didn't expect. You know, after Eve, Kua, spoke with that serpent, you know, and she had time to think about it and contemplate it. She probably was like, hey, let's eat that fruit. We can be smart. We can be like Yahweh. You know, they probably wasn't expecting what they got. Verse 8. And they heard the voice of Yahweh Elohim walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and the man and his woman hid themselves from the presence of Yahweh Elohim amongst the trees of the garden. This is interesting wording. Now, could it mean that Yahweh was perhaps singing or talking to himself as he walked in the garden? Therefore, when Adam heard his voice, he hid from him. This almost makes it sound as though Yahweh's voice was walking in the garden. And as we'll find out later, his voice is none other than his son, his word, Yahusha. But we don't get that in this early part of Bere'Shiyth. In fact, we don't get it at all in the so-called Old Testament. We don't know anything about his son. So, while it seems insignificant, but I still should mention that even in this early period of the earth existence, there were temperature variations. On this good day, at this time of day, it was cool. That must imply that there were times when it was likely warmer and colder than this day and time. In this age, when so many are worried and stressing over so-called global warming, not me, even when Yahweh himself walked the earth with not only man but others of his kind, the temperature varied from day to day and from time to time. If the temperature did not remain the same then, and the ones who made the planet and could conceivably control the weather, however they wanted, excuse me, were here, why are people now so worried because of temperature fluctuations? You know, they saying, well, you know, it's because of the emissions and, you know, the ozone depletion. Well, they just made the planet not too long from this moment, and they already have temperature variations. So if the ones who made it, particularly Yahweh, the king, the one who orchestrated the making of everything, if he's there and the temperatures vary, why are we so worried about that today? You might want to think about that. All right, verse 9. All right, this is starting to get good. I'm going to be reading a lot, as you already know. There's so much in here, I don't want to miss anything, so I'm going to be reading a lot, so forgive me if I'm not looking at you. Just know that I have, your best interest in mind in trying to get through all of this and give you as much as possible. And Yahweh Elohim, verse 9, I'm sorry. And Yahweh Elohim called unto Adam and said unto him, where are you? Okay. Yahweh knows all, so why did he call out then and ask Adam where he was? Was it for a lack of knowledge or to test his honesty? Later in scripture, we learned that he also asked Satan where he has been. This was pretty smooth. This whole time, the man was just called the man. Now suddenly, he was a name. He has a name, rather. I want to know when he got his name. Did he always have it? Or was it just given to him not too long from this moment? When did he get this name? Did he give it to himself or did Elohim give it to him? Adam is said to equal Yahweh's mankind. It also is said to mean to be red or a ruddy skin color. Also, Yahweh called Adam the man. He called him that over and over. Now I believe Yahweh wanted there to be no doubt that Adam was a man, a male, and that the woman was indeed a woman / female. All right? There was nothing ambiguous about it. This had nothing to do with either their feelings and or desires. Adam was the man and she was the woman. They didn't have gender identity issues. Especially when the one who made them breathed life into that man and made him become a living soul. Adam wasn't worried about saying, "Ooh, I feel feminine. I should be a woman. Make me a man." It wasn't nothing like that. Eve didn't come out and say, I feel like I should be a man. You made me wrong. It wasn't any of that. They both knew who they were and what they were. All right? Adam was the man and she was the woman. Adam did not give birth to her, so she was not the first person born, let alone born to a man. A piece of him was taken and fashioned and formed into her. They were not sister and brother. They were one of the other, one flesh. Now I believe that Adam had his name the whole time, but the woman only got hers after Adam named her. Now let's look at their skin color a bit more. Man is ruddy in skin tone. That is to say that the first man, Adam, had a skin color likely similar to that of the earth tone, red complexion of early Native Americans. Now you might want to throw in there, some natural born Indians from India, but nonetheless, Adam, Kua were more likely of a earth tone, reddish brown skin complexion. All right. Now, though our hues have been washed out and breeded out to some degree, everyone is still a shade of this earth tone red. Everyone. It doesn't matter if you have a brown complexion like me, if you have a paler complexion like, Caucasians, or you have a yellowish hue in your skin color like Asians, Chinese, or some kind of almond coloring because you're from the Mediterranean. It doesn't matter. We are all still the same color, although our colors have just been washed out. If you take some earth tone red paint and you start adding some little bit of white, it's gonna start washing that color out, and you can start manipulating it based on what you want to add to it. Nothing has been added to us per se. However, our complexions have been washed out and altered due to breeding. That's it. All right, we're not, any different. Now, that will likely explain why when we tan, practically no matter what our color, what our hue, shades of brown and red come out of that tanning process. In a way, I guess we are all red men. Just like you see in the old cowboy movies, they call Native Americans, call them red men. Hey, that's all of us. We're all rednecks. My neck is kind of brown, but that's because that brown has been washed out, or shall I say, toned out, or whatever the right wording is, from that reddish brown where it started. All right, verse 10. And he said, I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid myself. Again, sounds as though his voice was walking in the garden without him. It sounds weird, but that's just how it sounds to me. It sounds like the voice was walking, and Adam heard the voice, and he hid from the voice. That probably ain't what was happening, it's just how it's worded. All right? Now, unless it was Yahushua, no matter, whatever the case, it really seems as though Adam was face to face with Yahweh Elohim. This conversation, as well as all the others he had with Yahweh, seems to be in person. For all you who have experience, have read scripture, that certain things are said about, if you were to see the face of Yahweh, well, it appears as though Adam and Hua both saw him, interacted with him face to face, and had conversations. That's how it sounds to me. There are people who know better than me. Maybe you should listen to them. I don't know. But I'm going to stick with what I'm getting from this. All right? Chapter 3, verse 11. And he said, and Yahweh said, who told you that you were naked? Who told you that you were naked? I want you to listen to that question. Who? Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree whereof I commanded you that you should not eat? There was only the man, Adam, and the woman. All right? Why did Yahweh ask, who told you? As though there were others there. Think about that. I explained to you before that Elohim is a plural word, meaning that there were multiple, or that there are multiple male Els. El is what they are. Singular is El, plural for male Els is Elohim. I haven't found or been given the female plural for El, because there are females. There have to be, because there are males, so they're being born. They may be living a long time, more than we're familiar with, but that's the case. But we don't have the word for female, because if it wasn't female, why would they mention that this was a plural for males? Okay, enough of that. Why did you ask who told you, as though there were others there? Yahweh sounds genuinely unaware of what had happened. While it sounds like he put the pieces together quickly as a father, the father, he seems surprised nonetheless. Then again, they were the only two man there in the garden. Don't forget that man is plural. There were other Elohim there in their presence. Okay? It wasn't just Yahweh. There were other El, there were other Elohim there in the presence of Adam and his woman. Now perhaps Yahweh wondered if it might have been one of his people who told them that they were naked. Or maybe this was a test of their honesty. The knowledge that they possessed regarding their nakedness already indicated that they had probably been disobedient. All right? The knowledge that they possessed regarding their nakedness already indicated that they have probably been disobedient. Now, you know this from your children. If you come home and you told your children, hey, leave that flour alone, and you come home and you see that they got flour on their shirt, in their hair, you know that they were in the flour. You ask them, hey, who told you to get in the flour? Because you already know they have been disobedient. So that's what I'm saying. Now, that being the case, while he asked them a question that perhaps they would not be honest, that will also mean that they will have to have been taught to lie. You know, you can't have it both ways. If you're testing, it's because you want to see if they're going to tell you something contrary to what you already know, which means that they will have to lie, which means that seeing how he didn't teach them to lie, they will also have been taught to lie. All right? All right, I'm over time right now, so all right, I'm gonna end it right here, and I'm gonna jump back in the next episode. So thank you for joining. Check out the next episode. This is getting good. So y'all, I'll see you in a little bit.